wants to learn.
Mhm.
He said, if you're the Rosh Hashiva, you have to fundraise and deal with politics. He just wants to learn.
That's Reb Nosson Tzvi said that. Reb Nosson Tzvi Finkel said that.
Yeah, well, I don't know about him, but I know this is what what Rabbi Freifeld at Eretz Yisrael told me.
How many years ago were you in that kollel?
I wasn't in the kollel. I was in the yeshiva.
Yeah, how many years ago?
In 2001.
Wow.
You ask a simple question, you get a mathematical answer. Now I have to figure it out.
20 years ago.
Okay, fine. Icky, you having a good time, huh? It paid to drive away from work. Confidence, pretty good, huh?
700 degrees over there. How many degrees is it there? How's the heat?
Read the numbers.
Why?
It's breaking up.
It's so hot, it's ruining reception.
Right.
I asked the wrong question.
Mondays. Got 5 games?
It says 118.
Yeah.
But don't worry, it's a dry heat like my oven.
Yeah, that's it.
It's this week was pretty awful. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it.
At least you can breathe the air. When we lived in Mexico, it also got very hot. There was such pollution. It was schrecklich. Terrible.
Yeah.
All right, ready to roll. We give enough time for everybody to get on.
Okay.
I want to welcome Michael Cohn. He's formerly of the Shar program. Where do you live? You're still in Pennsylvania? Where are you? Still in
Maryland.
Now you're in Maryland?
I was in Maryland before, in Maryland. Yeah.
I thought you were in Pennsylvania. I thought you were in Philly.
No, Maryland.
No? Okay, I'm sorry. All right.
Sorry.
Well, anyways, welcome. So we have to behave ourselves a little bit. So it's Friday. We don't have enough time to misbehave. So
don't give away people's aliases.
It's true. It's true. At least listen. At least I was in the right direction. It was south, right? At least I got that much. Yeah. Anyways, okay. So.
Shalom Aleichem, Michael.
Yeah. There was something I thought, I can't remember what I wanted to say about yesterday's daf. I don't know. Okay, we're on Samach Ches Amud Aleph. Me'em Asayim Tamei Begodim, right? So we said, yeah, we have it. Samach Ches Amud Aleph.
Yeah.
So we said in the Mishna that there's a machlokes. Well, in the Mishna was a two-way machlokes, and the Gemara was a three-way machlokes. Over what? Right? Was that? No, that was weird. I'm sorry. That was the machlokes where the tumah happens, right? Here it's so he has we're saying that the Mishnah says that the anybody that takes any of the animals out to carry the seir, whoever takes out the seir, whoever burns the parah and the seir, they all become tamei, right? And there was a machlokes in the Mishnah where so the Tanakama said that right when they leave the Beis Hamikdash, that's when they become tamei. And Reb Shimon says till the fire overcomes the animal, that's when they become tamei. That was the machlokes. The Tana Rabanan. Yeah, so Rabanan said, now if you look to the Rashi, there's a long Rashi. Rashi had some sort of issue with one of the girsais, but they have to make an asterisk and said that's not negeya to Daf Yomi. Right, but there's a long Rashi there. He got to gives the issues. Yeah, so Tana Rabanan. Yosi al michutz lamachane b'sarfu. So you bring out the animal outside the machane and burn it. Right? Now further, it says that you bring it out 3 machanes, meaning there were three levels, right? There was the Beis Hamikdash, which was called the machane Shechina. There was the machane Levia, and then there was the machane Yisrael. So what does it mean when it says take it out of the machane? It could mean the first machane, second machane, or third machane. Right? So it's lahalan by the korban that we always seem to be comparing to, where the Sanhedrin makes a mistake, right? And they paskin wrong. So there, everybody has to bring a korban, or the kohen gadol, the kohen gadol's korban. So we're learning out from there. There it says that you have to take it out of all 3. And here it says you only have to bring it out of 1 machna, just out of the Beis Hamikdash. Im kain So if that's the case, why does it say mechutz l'machana? So it's teaching you once it leaves one machana, metam begadim, that's when it becomes tamei begadim. Right? So Mamela, what is it saying? I think what it's saying is that you still have to take it out of all three machanas. But what the pasuk says by saying machana achas, that's telling you that right when you get out of the Beis Hamikdash, that's when you become tamei. Right? And now over there, by when the kohen gadol makes a mistake in psak, or the Sanhedrin makes a mistake. So hasami nalan. So how do you know over there? The Tanya, meaning how do you know that it goes out of all three machanas? So there's a lot of drushes here. The Tanya, you take out the whole par. Chutz l'shalish machanas. It said it doesn't say that, but we have in the price. It says for haitzias kol par. So what does that mean? It says it means chutz l'shalish machanas, to outside the three machanas. Atoymer chutz l'shalish machanas. Do you mean to say outside all three, or is it only outside one machana? So when it says by the para'eda, that's the par that they bring when everybody ends up making a mistake because of a wrong psak. It says it says to outside the machana. Shein tam doesn't need to tell that to you. Sharek farnemer b'saraf oisai kasher saraf as a pararishan. You burn it the same way you burn the first par, which is the par that of the kohen gadol is making a mistake. Right? So then so what are you coming to tell us by saying mechutz l'machana? Litein loy machana shniya, to tell you to get it out of the second camp, which is the machana of the Leviyim. Mechutz l'machana bedeshen. So when it says mechutz l'machana, that's referring to the ashes. Shein tam it doesn't need to teach that to us. Sharei kvar nemer el shefach hadeshen. You bring the korban, the par of the kohen gadol who made the mistake. You bring it to where the ashes are poured. That's a literal translation. So that must be 10 lemachna shlishis. So therefore, I must tell you that you bring the par that the kohen gadol brings if he made a mistake to out of the third machana. That's and that's how we know it from there, and then we learn out the Yom Kippur from there. Fine. Okay. Now Reb Shimon, who holds that it only goes from one machana. So what does he do? Reb Shimon, I'm sorry, he doesn't. I'm sorry. Ooh, I almost botched that one. Reb Shimon says that it has nothing to do with the machana. Doesn't become tamei. He doesn't become tamei. The fellow who's burning the korban doesn't become tamei until most of the fire is consuming the animal. So what does he do with all these psukim? Right? And also, what does he do with mechutz l'machana? Reb Shimon, hi mechutz l'machana mayavid. Like, what does he do with it? Right? Again, we had said that Tanakama said the mechutz l'machana is coming to teach us that the kohen becomes tamei right when he leaves the camps, but Reb Shimon has nothing to do with that. So what does he do with mechutz l'machana? So he said, look at the Tanya, he needs it for what we learned in the Brayso. Reb Eliezer Reimer, nemra kan mechutz l'machana. It says here mechutz l'machana, v'nemra lahalon, and it says further mechutz l'machana. And this is in Yonah de Yoma. This is what's lahalon, the parah aduma. It says that, which is this week's parsha, right? The parah aduma, so they have to also bring it mechutz l'machana. So makan chutz l'shalish machana is just like here. You bring it out from three machanas, what's the Gemara we just said. Af la'alon chutz l'gimel machana. So too by the parah aduma, that you have to bring it out. No, I'm mixing it up. I'm sorry, right. We're learning out from the power of the kohen gadol and the power of the Sanhedrin that makes a mistake, that it's outside of three machnas. So too, lahalon, the parah aduma also has to be brought outside. As you have to shech the parah aduma and outside the three machnas.
See, Yaakov.
Yeah.
I was thinking you're saying this week's parsha. So in Eretz Yisrael, chutz the third machana, you gotta go outside the chayim of yerushalyim. In the midbar, you had to go away from the whole nation. You couldn't stay. You had to go past where the last Shevet was staying.
So what are you saying?
Nothing big deal. I'm just saying it's just different when you have your own land. So just chutz Yerushalayim is already chutz the third machana.
Right. You mean all. Chutz
In the mid-
Yerushalayim.
In the midbar, you didn't go outside of the.
You're right. You're right. So the truth is that it's Mistama talking about the Mishkan, right? The Chayr is talking about the Mishkan. We have to apply it to Yerushalayim. You're right. I think that's right.
Yeah,
No,
but when there was a Mishkan, you had to go past wherever the last Shevet was living. That was
Right,
the end of the
Nechanan,
third
right.
Machana.
Yeah.
That's all.
Okay, very good. So let's see weiter. So Afla Alon Chutz L'Gimel Nach. So too by Paraduma, it's outside the three Machnas. Amala Alon b'Mizrach Yerushalayim, and just like over there, you burn it on the east of Yerushalayim. Afkan b'Mizrach Yerushalayim. So too here you do on the east of Yerushalayim. Okay, fine. That's how Reb Shimon learns it out. But Rabanan Heichi Saraflu, but the Rabanan need all these psukim to tell us that you need to burn it outside the camp. So how do they know where do you burn the korban? Rabanan Heichi Saraflu, which part of Yerushalayim do they hold you have to burn the korban? The Tanya Heichan Nisrafin, where does it get burned? The Tzvaina She Yerushalayim on the north of Yerushalayim, right? Right. And Rashi says, why the north? Because the chatas gets brought in the north part of the north part. It gets shechted in the north part of the Beis Hamikdash. So you go with the north part, right? So in the north part of the Beis Hamikdash, outside all three camps. Yosi Aimer Abeis Hadeshin is and he has a different shot. They burn it the same place that they dump all the ashes that come from the Mizbeach. So whatever it is that they did that, then that's where they burn the korbanos too. Yeah.
Wait, it's the base of Deshin is where they put the ashes from the Mizbeach, or where they burn the srafim, the srafim.
Huh?
The base of Deshin is where they put the ashes from the Mizbeach, or where they burn the nisraf.
No, I thought that's where they put the ashes. They got to do something with the ashes from the Mizbeach. So they put it out in the wherever they put it. No, I mean Rashi says that. What does it mean, Beis Hadeshin? You have to first put the ashes from the Mizbeach there, and then after that you can burn it. Right? That's the way Rashi says it.
Yeah, Rashi's mashma that it's not a specific spot where you put the ashes from the Mizbeach.
Right.
It needs to have a shame deshin.
Right. But the thing is, it doesn't say what about. Is this deshin on the east side or the north side? Right? That the Gemara doesn't say. Right? Reb Shimon and the Rabanan having a machlokes whether you burn it on the east of Yerushalayim or north of Yerushalayim. Yeah. And here he just says you have to do it at the Beis Hadesh. It just doesn't say where they do the Beis Hadesh. Right? Okay. So I don't know what the pshat of that is. So Amar Rava, Mantana de Pligi Eled Rabbi Yosi. Who disagrees with Rabbi Yosi? Again, Rabbi Yosi holds that you have to put the ashes on his Mizbeach there first. Who disagrees with Rabbi Yosi? Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov. It's Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov, the Tanya, El Shefach HaDeshen Yisarif. Right? You where you pour the deshen, that's where you burn it. Sheyehei l'sham deshen. It should be where there's deshen. Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov, no, that Shefach HaDeshen doesn't mean that you pour the ashes over there, right? It means that it should be on a slant. It should be on an angle. Yeah, meaning that you should do it that the shefech, that the ashes pour. How do you get them to pour? So that they slide down. Sort of they go like down a hill, down a mountain. So Amalei Abaya says, who says? Maybe that's not the machlokes. Meaning the Gemara wanted to say that machlokes is whether you need to put the ashes there first or not. And Abai is saying no, but no, maybe they just have a machlokes whether you need to put it in a place that it slants or not. Maybe that's a machlokes. Who says they're having a machlokes whether you have to put the ashes there first? Okay, so Tana Rabban. Hasayrif, the pasuk says, and the one who burns them, Hasayrif metam begadim, the one who burns the animals, his begadim become tamei. V'loi hametis is or not the guy that lights the fire. V'loi hamasader samarocha, not the guy who I shouldn't say guy, but the fellow who sets up the wood. Ve'ezahu hasayrif, and who's considered the one that burns it? It's anybody that's helping out, making it burn. Right? So, meaning anybody that's involved in the actual burning is going to have their clothing. They're going to come tamei, and the clothing is going to come tamei. You would think, okay, maybe if a guy gets involved with the burning, even after it gets to be ashes, so matamei begadim, then that's also going to make them become tamei, their clothing, right? Meaning it's them with the clothing. Tamei, I don't know why the Gemara just saying matamei begadim. It doesn't only mean it's the chiddush, I guess it's them plus their clothing. It doesn't mean their clothing and not them, right? So tamei oisam, it says them. Yeah, oisam matamei begadim v'lo mishanasa efer matamei begadim. Only them when it's there, but not when it becomes efer. That's nothing. Rav Elazar, but Rav Shimon Aimer, hapar matama, the par is matama. Yeah, nita chabasar ain't a matama. When it's a par, when you look at it and it looks like a par, so it's matama. Once the meat gets nitach, it gets decayed, then it's not matama. Ain't a matama. Then it doesn't. Then it's not matama. My benayu. What's the difference between these two? The bottom line is one shita says that when it becomes ashes, okay, so it's no longer meat, and one shita says that when it's decays. So they're both relatively the same thing. At least that's what the Gemara thinks now. So my benayu, what's the difference between these two opinions? Benayu the shavi charucha. Once it becomes burnt, right? Meaning it's not ashes, it gets burnt, but it's not ashes. According to the first shita, it has to be ashes. Until it's ashes, right? It still can be considered a par. Right? You know, always get that guy that by a barbecue, let's go talk for the barbecues, right? You always get that guy, even though you burn the steak or you burn the hot dog, they see epis in the middle, a little bit of daylight of meat, and they're ready to eat it, right? So that would be the nafkamina, right? So that guy is the nafkamina. According to the second opinion, it has to be decayed, so it would be matama. According to the first shita, that it has to be ashes, it would not be matama. I'm sorry. According to the one that says ashes, so it's not matama because it's not ashes, right? But according to the second opinion, it's already decayed. That's not going to be considered food. Yeah. Okay.
Why isn't this brisa brought earlier, where we had the machlokes about whether a par is still called a par after misa? We had it different by set. We had a machlokes earlier, a week ago, whether an animal is still called an animal after it's killed. We had a difference by seh and par. The pasuk calls one a seh, even after shchita, it's still called a seh, a keves.
Right.
We had it machlokes by par. This brisa, you see, all three of them call it a par after misa.
Here, that's. Yeah, but is that what it means? Is that called a par, or are you just looking to see that it looks like a par?
Hey, they call it a par. Anyway, it's an attempt.
I hear. That's a good order. Okay, Zog the Mishna. Yeah, Amrulay the kohen gadol. So they told the kohen gadol, Higia seir the midbar. The seir reached the midbar. Meaning, because the kohen gadol had to wait in order to get going to the next step, he had to wait till the goat, the seir mishtaleach, hits the midbar. How is he supposed to know? They didn't have WhatsApp, right? They didn't have social media. How exactly are they supposed to know? How are they supposed to know that it reached the midbar? So we say, they would put watchmen, and they would start waving towels. That's how they would signal people how they knew where the goat reached. And then they would know that the seir reached the midbar. Yeah, some of Rabbi Yehuda. So Yehuda says, "Simin gadol hayalahem," right? But they had a simin gadol. Yerushalyim by base chaduda shloisha milim. From Yerushalayim till base chaduda, it was 3 million, right? Holchen mil. So you walk, and then we know that they walked 1 mil. That was yesterday's Mishnah. They walked him 1 mil. The chayzron mil, and then it would take time to walk back a mil. The shayin, and then they would wait kedei mil. And if they waited the amount of time they would take them to walk a mill, the Yadin Shigia, seal the middle, and then they would notice they reach a middle. Meaning they sent him out, they accompanied him, the Chashuvim accompanied him, right? So they went to 1 mil. So without getting into the machlokes about whether you keep 42 minutes, 72 minutes, 60 minutes, because that's all about how long it takes to walk a mill. We're not going down that road now, right? But But that's a machlokes. But let's say the mill took 18 minutes. That's what most opinions say. Yeah. So it took them they left for 18 minutes. They came back. That's 18 minutes. And then they waited another 18 minutes and they knew that the goat reached the thing, which is interesting because why do you have to tell that to the kohen gadol, right? Why have to say that? The kohen gadol should be smart enough to figure that out, right? So you wait 54 minutes. Right, you say the shear is from when the azazel leaves. It's 54 minutes, right? They got to go tell the kohen gadol. Okay, I don't clearly understand this. Also, how do you know?
Along the same lines.
Maybe he tripped. Maybe the guy tripped and never made it. Right? How do we? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
And if they knew how long 18 minutes was, that they could wait the third 18 minutes, why did they need to walk the first two?
Yeah. I don't know. Okay. I don't know.
Same kasha.
Right. Okay, so let's see.
It's not-
What are you saying?
It's not 3 mil. It's longer than that.
No, they just need him to reach the midbar. That's all. He has to just get to the midbar, then the kohen gadol can go weiter.
But it's way more than that.
Why?
That's what we said 2 days ago.
That's
No,
Tazos, though.
yeah,
We're not
that's
talking
what you're
about
asking.
Azazel.
You're right. Yes, they all asked that kasha, right? But Rashi, right? You're saying it should be 12 mil. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
So Rashi says that it doesn't mean it means the Roisha midbar, and that's where you makayim that you sent the seer to the midbar. You're already makayim it like that. Why it says beis chiduda? It's a good kasha, but Rashi's coming to answer that. Right? Rashi's saying that that it doesn't mean it has to get to the cliff.
3 mil. He's by the Tachaneh. Where is he? 3 mil. He could get a falafel.
I was about to say, get the shawarma on that shawarma place on the outside of yerushalyim. Yeah, yeah. I think that's the other direction, though. I think it's the other direction. You're right. That's what Rashi's saying. That it means there's other pshatim. But yeah. Anyways, weiter. Yeah, Rabbi Shmuel, Simon Achar. They had a different simon, which was yesterday's daf. They had a red string that was tied in the door of the eichel. And when the seer reached the midbar, and then the lashon would get white. If your averas will be like red, they will be like white snow. So even though we said that it shouldn't have turned white until it went off the cliff, not once they reached the midbar. We also said that they took it down, they put it on the inside, but I guess the kohen gadol could have seen that. Okay, so the Gemara, Samar Abaya, Shmamina, Beis Chiduda b'midbar kaima, right? So it has to be that the Beis Chiduda, right, is it's similar to what Rashi was saying. I mean, Rashi was really saying from the Gemara, but let's see. The Shmamina Beis Chiduda b'midbar kaima, it must have been in the midbar. Right? Once it reached the midbar, it's nasas mitzvah, which is what Rashi was saying, that the Gemara, Rashi was saying in the Mishnah that's what it is. Right? The only question is, why is beis chidudai? Why is it being called beis chidudai? Just say once you get to the midbar. Okay. Hadron Allah, Peretz is on there? I don't know if Peretz is on. Anyways, Hadron Allah Shnei Seirei. Yeah, so now Peretz needs to post a picture of
L'chaim.
L'chaim. Yeah. Okay. We got time. Yeah. Let's continue. Okay.
I finished my l'chaim, but
You gotta post starting new parak.
That's why I just poured a second.
New parak.
You gotta post your picture of the meat, Peretz.
I have to go down and take another picture. Fresh. It has to be fresh.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Eretz, what do you drink when you make a siyum on your siyum? When you finish your schnapps?
More expensive alcohol. Just the vachadika alcohol.
He's an einin. He's mullah. Anyways, okay. So yeah. All right. Fine. Okay. Balai kohen gadol. Yeah. Zok the Mishna. Yeah. What's the problem? Okay. Balai kohen gadol likros. So a kohen gadol came to to read the kohen gadol came to read the Torah, right? That's what he does after everything. He reads from the Torah. Same Ratza Likras big day butz Kaira. If he wants to read it in his linen clothing, then he can read. Vim lav karib it's the list lavan mishaloi. Then he reads it. He reads it in his regular white clothing. Meaning he has a choice. He could either read it in the regular clothing or not. Chazan HaKnesses noitel sefer Torah. And the Chazan HaKnesses, the Chazan again doesn't mean the he means what we say went.
It's the Gabbai.
The Gabbai, right? The Gabbai, the Shamish, the
Yeah.
Shamish. Yeah.
What's this? It's Salis Lavan, Mishaloi. Is this the original Kittel?
Maybe. I don't know. It's whatever it is.
Because then it has to be white here, and it's his own clothing, and it has to be white.
It doesn't say it has to be white. I think the Gemara is just thinking that, I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why it said. Why does it say white? Who cares? Let's say it was black. It doesn't work.
He says it was the Mishna. It's the common case as it was the custom of eminent people then as now to wear white clothing on Yom Kippur from the Meiri.
Taka? That's interesting. So Gershon, that's what you're saying. Very good. That's the original Kittel, I guess. So anyways, okay, so Chazan HaKnesses noitel sefer Torah. So the Chazan takes sefer Torah, but noisna l'rosh HaKnesses. He gives it to the Rosh HaKnesses, right? That's the president, I guess. No? Yeah, but Rosh HaKnesses, noisna l'skan, and then the
He says it's
Knesses-
similar to the Gabbai.
So then who's the Chazan?
I don't know. I didn't see that footnote.
You're right. So the Chazan's probably what they call him, Rabbi? What's the name from the White Shul? That's every time I hear about the Chazan.
Emeritus?
Not emeritus. No, the what was the guy and from the White Shul? They haven't
the
replaced him.
Shamish, the Shamish.
The Shamish.
No, you're right.
Rabbi Her.
Rashi says, like you said originally, the Chazan is the Shamish,
Right.
and the other one is the president. The president decides who gets what. The Shamish is the one who actually does it.
Yeah. He's the gopher. The Chazan is the gopher. The Rosh HaKnesses is the president. Rosh HaKnesses gives it to the skan, to the assistant, right? The skan we learned, he accompanies the kohen gadol at every step of the way. Vaskan knows the kohen gadol, and then he hands it to the kohen gadol. The kohen gadol, Amiru Makabel, and the kohen gadol stands up and is Makabel, which the Gemara is going to discuss. That means he was sitting down, which you're not allowed to sit it down in the Beis HaMikdash. Right? V'koira acharei mois, v'ach ba'esor. You read acharei mois, right? And that's the Yom Kippur. That's all the psukim of Yom Kippur. And then you skip, which the Gemara is going to discuss also. He skips to the psukim about the Isser Malach on Yom Kippur. The gadol sefer Torah, umanicha b'chek, and then they roll the sefer Torah, and he puts it in his chest. V'aymer yoser mimasha karasi lefneichem kasav kan. More than what is written here, was said here is written here. Ube'eser shebechumash apekudim kaira al peh. And the Esa Shebechom Shebekudim, that's the korban musaf that he reads Bapeh. Right? Which the Gemara is going to go through all this. And he makes a bracha on it. He makes 8 brachas. Ala Torah, ala avoda, ala hida, ala mechila sa'avan, ala mikdash b'fnei atzman. On the base of mikdash is by its own bracha. By Yisrael b'fnei atzman, and on Klal Yisrael b'fnei atzman. Yeah. And by yerushalyim b'fnei atzman. Meaning, what it means that it means separate brachas. The first few, it combines it together. Meaning, like what we do on Haftarah, I think, right? Allah, in the beginning of Haftarah, say Allah. How does it go? I thought I just had it. The Gershon's singing it. Okay, new shine, whatever that nusach is, right? So we do, and then we have a few separate brachas afterward, right? And the other tefillah, yeah. So that's 8. So Araya Kohen Gadol Kushu Kaira. So if you see the Kohen Gadol when he's reading the Torah, ain't Araya Parvasir and Nisrafin, then you can't see the par and the seer get burned. But Araya Parvasir and Nisrafin, and if you see the Parvasir and Nisrafin, ain't Araya Kohen Gadol Kushu Kaira, then you can't see the Kohen Gadol. But not because you're not able to do it. Theoretically, you could do it. It's far away. And they're doing both of them at the same time. Meaning once he gets out to the midbar, then everything starts, and then they start burning, and he starts reading the Torah. So Mamela, it's not possible for you to not like a 3-ring circus where you could watch all 3 rings going at the same time. You can't do that. It's just not shy. Yeah, okay. So but it's Lislavan Mishaloi that he uses his own white garment. So it must be that Kriya is not part of the avodah of Yom Kippur. Because if it is, then he would have to wear the regular big day kahuna. The katani and Ratzalikas big day vutz kaira. But it says if he wants, he's allowed to read it in big day vutz, which means that if it's not an avodah, meaning memanasha. If it's an avodah, he has to wear the kohen, the big day kahuna. If it's not an avodah, right? If it's not an avodah, then how is he allowed to wear the big day kahuna? So Shabbos we know big day kahuna nitnu lahasman. It must be that big day kahuna, the kohen gadol is allowed to benefit from them if he wants. Yeah. Dilma, so then where it says no, Dilma shani kriya the tzarich avodah. Maybe it's a tzarich of the avodah, right? So somewhere in the middle. It's not an actual avodah, but it's tzarich avodah. So therefore, he has the option of wearing the big day boots. The boiling because we had a shaila big day kahuna nitnu lahasman or loy nitnu lahasman is the kohen allowed to benefit from the big day kahuna or not? Tashema lo yo yishena b'big day kodesh. The kohanim did not sleep in their big day kahuna. Shinahu deloy hameichal achli. It's mashma that they didn't sleep, but they ate. So it's mashma from there that they.
We're talking about every day.
Every day, yeah, every day, yeah. So the Gemara says Dilma shani achila. Maybe no, achila is different. It's tzarich avodah. Achila is a tzarich avodah. Kedetanya va'achlu v'aisam asher kuba v'em. And they have to, those that are getting a kapara, the kohanim have to eat. Meaning the kohanim have to eat from the karbanos in order for the people to get a kapara. Meaning, so you see that the eating, many of us are noyeg like this with our own regular mundane lives, right? That it's eating is a gross mitzvah, right? So malamet shakayim oichlim u'bailim is happening. The kohanim eat and the bailim have a kapara. Yeah, so therefore you can't bring a raya. Maybe achila is part of the avodah. So Gemara says shinahu delay. So okay, so sleeping maybe not hahaluche mahalche. So they're allowed to walk in it. Are they allowed to just benefit from the kolim by just walking when they're not doing avodah? So Gemara says no. Really, they can't walk either in the clothing. The seifa it's strichale, but you need the seifa because what's the seifa say? That right? That what does it say? Because they would take off the clothing and they would fold it and put it under their heads, right? So therefore, it's you're allowed to. We're saying that it's allowed to be put under their heads. And then we don't care, once it's under their heads, that we don't care. And Rashi gets involved with this, that whether they pass gas, whether they have any stomach issues, then it's not an issue if it's under the head because they're not actually wearing it. Once they're not wearing it, so then we know that we let them sleep, right? But the Gemara is going to continue. The next Gemara, what's the story with getting hana from it? And what does it mean actually under the head? Because how are they allowed to put it under the head? But that we'll see tomorrow night, Bez Hashem. Okay. Good Shabbos. So tomorrow, I guess 5 to 10, Bez Hashem, Baruch, give or take. Yeah.
And Shabbos afternoon.
Right.
Thank you.
Shabbos afternoon is like 7:05, 7:10 is what he said.
Okie dokie.
Okay, thank you. Have a good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos, everyone. See you
Shabbos.
Sunday.
Shabbos.
Rafe, enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
And Icky's got a whole day ahead of him.
Yeah, right. We'll see you Sunday, Mr. Shem. Have a good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos.
Have a good Shabbos.